To the people who die who've never heard about Jesus? That is a heavy question, and I don't think you're gonna like the answer. Well, tell me then. All right, so in John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. So that means Jesus is the only way to heaven. Yeah, that's exactly what that means. So people would go to hell just because they've never heard about Jesus? No. What do you mean? That's what you just said. No, I said that people can only go to heaven if they trust in Jesus Christ alone. And thereby, if they don't believe in Jesus, then they go to hell. Yeah, but that's not why they go to hell. Well, then why do they go to hell? Because the wages of sin is death. What do you mean? Everybody is judged based on works. That is what determines whether or not you go to heaven or hell. Okay? The difference is that Christians are judged based on the works that Jesus did, whereas people who reject Jesus, they are judged based on their own works that they have done. So if there's a good person who's never heard about Jesus, then there's potential that he can go to heaven. In Mark 10:18, Jesus says that there is no one good but God alone. So that means for a person who's never heard about Jesus, they're not going to hell because they've never heard about Jesus. They're going to hell because they are an evil, sinful person. That is correct. Because if anyone is judged based on the works that they have done, they will be found guilty before God. That babies are saved? Well, it depends on the religion and their view. Okay, well, let's start with you. Okay, well, I'm a biblical Christian and therefore I believe that babies are saved. Based on what? Well, God being sovereign over every aspect of his creation, including salvation, would mean that God chooses who he saves. Okay, so from a Calvinist soteriology, I would believe that God gives the gift of faith to babies. Do you have scripture to back that up? Of course, there's Psalm 51 where David says that God desired faithfulness even in the womb and that God taught wisdom in that secret place. So that would indicate that babies are born or conceived with a knowledge of God. Yes, I believe that from both biblical and anecdotal situations. We all will have those sinful inclinations, those sinful desires, and thereby, even upon conception, we are sinful and fall short of the glory of God. However, even at that time, we haven't committed a sin yet. So God choosing who he saves is the only way to definitively know, based on a biblical principle, that babies are in fact saved.
I agree with that. A reflection of that, how when it says in scripture, no man chooses God, and all our works is as dirty as rags, it's a reflection of how we are born into this sinful nature. David even talks about how he was born into sin. But then you have destined me from the womb, right? And so this is a reflection of God's sovereignty, him constantly fulfilling our paths, fulfilling our ways. So I fully agree with that. I would like to apologize. I'll forever do my homework and watch the videos in totality. I don't think predestination is wrong because a lot of people comprehend the concept of free will and predestination. They think that doesn't mix. But if you think free will very linearly, where you say you have full, complete control of your life, you don't got free will because God decides when you live, God decides when you die. So you don't have free will in that concept anyway. But of course, we do have free will because Adam and Eve did what? God didn't force them to do it. He actually commanded them to not do it. They still disobeyed. Are you going to sit there and say they didn't have free will then? So these two very much blend one together because we get control of our own desires. We may not control our influences, but our decision has always been ours. Similar to how with Lucifer, right? He was made perfect, but then iniquity was found in him. How was iniquity found in him? When he chose to make himself God instead of serving God. It says in scripture, he told to his heart that he will be the most high God. He will be the king of the heavens. That sounds like a decision, right? So even though God knows everything that will happen, there's still a clear decision to be made. That's how we know it's free will. And this is how predestination still makes sense because God knowing your future doesn't enforce your decisions. It just exposes them.